Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to the new snapshots for Minecraft 1.11, the Exploration Update. Today we're going to be covering 16w43a and 44a, and for everyone out there patiently awaiting the first pre-release and of course the full release of 1.11, these snapshots are a good sign. Between the two versions, the developers have fixed 114 bugs and issues. Now they did add in some new features and changes, but you can kind of see what's going to happen here. My snapshot sense is tingling after all these years of doing these videos. When the developers buckle down and really focus on bug fixes, you know that the end of the tunnel is in sight. I say that each week, but I think we're not too far at long last from getting 1.11. So over here, let's start with the new features. We have a brand new room for the Woodland Mansion dungeons. Of course, it'll have walls when it's actually in there, but I can summon these in with the structure blocks and just load them in. There we go. And they're very similar to a room that already exists in the mansions in older snapshots. This one right here, it's a little smaller, but inside this little obsidian tree is a diamond block. Now the same applies to this one over here. We can jump inside of it and you'll see beyond the glass and the lava, right up in here is another diamond block. So another room that will randomly spawn in these dungeons, and another reason to go seek them out and fight through the waves of Vexes and Vindicators that have been buffed. It's a pretty big challenge now. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it is tougher than it was when these snapshots first came out. So I think they're adding more rewards in there to make it more worth our while. Now there is a new death message that goes along with being suffocated with a bunch of entities. So they added that max entity cramming game rule. I set it down to like 2. So if I jump in here with these chickens, I'm gonna start suffocating. And you can see I was squished too much, so that's the new message for when you die from having too many entities in one spot. Now Vexes, these little guys here, they previously could just phase through nether portals and end portals, and they wouldn't really move around in water very well. When you put them in water now, they swim up to the surface and then start flying around, but now they can go through portals. Their ephemeral qualities of phasing through walls, it doesn't apply to certain things as much anymore, but they will sink right into the sand still. And also, a bunch of projectiles like shulker bullets, fireballs, and wither skulls will hit these guys and hurt them now. Before, it would just phase through them. And they also have a texture change. Before, they had this weird red dot. It looks just like the kind of bloodshot veins that they get when they're about to strike a player or a villager. They had a red dot on their left arm that didn't seem to fit, and that was just a texture error, I think, and they sorted that out. Now, I had all these chests and enchantment tables here for a reason, because previously, if you were to sneak on any block that wasn't a full-size block, like you can see this is a full-size grass block, and the chests and enchantment table here are smaller, if you were to sneak on these, you would fall off even if you were holding down the button to crouch and walk around. But now, it keeps you on there, so you don't have to worry about falling off a chest if you are sneaking around on them for whatever reason. And villagers, vexes, and ender dragons now have loot tables they can draw upon. Probably not going to be something that factors in too much in vanilla, but if you were someone that made a map and you wanted the ender dragon to drop its head or the elytra wings or something like that, now you can have rewards for that sort of stuff. And redstone, now if you pass a redstone current through air, it won't update the block around it, which kind of factors in to the observer here. And they're still working on tweaking these things and fixing a bunch of the bugs with them, trying to make them so that the community is happy with them. But they did add a little feature here. It's kind of subtle. There's an arrow on the top and the bottom of these blocks that will point towards where the current will flow out. So you can see this is the back of it with the bigger looking button, and this is where the current will flow if I was to drop something here. And one of the changes they did do to the observers, they did send out a 2 redstone tick pulse originally, but now they have a 1 pulse again, so it's very quick, just kind of a quick little, flash there. I did find out that if you put an observer block down, when you place it, it does flash multiple times for some reason. Maybe they're reacting to each other. So definitely things that they have to iron out, and I don't think the community is quite happy with them just yet, but they're still working on that. And fishing. Fishing has had a major overhaul. If you can believe it, at long last, they fixed a lot of the issues with fishing. There were 18 issues related to the fishing rod and, fishing in general that were fixed between these two snapshots. And you can see some of them right here because my fishing pole actually has the line on it. It's not floating over to the side. They fixed stuff like the bobber was floating above water blocks. Particles were kind of reacting weird and interacting in strange ways. Now we can pull mobs again with the fishing rod if we can manage to track these little guys. Let me throw a couple of Vexes here, and I'll see if I can wrangle one with my fishing rod. There we go, and we can pull them in again, because that was a nice little touch that was added in, but was kind of messed up, and just a lot of bugs with fishing rods are fixed, and they definitely look a lot better now when you use them, because they don't seem all glitchy anymore, just from a visual standpoint as well. And also, there was a thing where a lot of fishing farms use fence, and you weren't able to cast out when you were right-clicking on the fence, and I think they fixed that. So if you have a fishing farm that revolves around using fences, then there you go. You're good to go again. And one last thing I wanted to mention, we do have a couple other bug fixes. There was a really funny fishing glitch that was luckily fixed, but if you cast a fishing rod and you were looking straight down, the server that you're on would freeze. And that was just in the last snapshot, so I'm glad that that's probably one of the weirder and more catastrophic bugs that have been introduced into the game. So a few of the other bugs quickly here. The Birch Forest M, or medium, that wasn't generating for whatever reason, so we had lost one of those biomes, and that is back in the game. Dragon Breath particles, as I'll show you guys here, they were not reduced previously when you put particles to minimal and decreased, and that was really tough if you were someone with a computer that was struggling to kind of keep up with Minecraft. If you went to the end, the dragon battle was rough with all those particles going on, so now you can set your particles lower and the dragon fight will reflect that. Animals were having trouble jumping up onto one block heights when they were being led around, and llamas had issues as well with those caravans. They couldn't really pathfind down hills and around obstacles, but they're better off now. And also llamas were spinning around and trying to look at you when you rode on them, which is kind of funny, but they shouldn't be looking at you when you're riding them. They should be focused on staying with that llama train. And the Totem of Undying, it's kind of weird with the totem where if you died and the animation activated, you logged out and you logged on to another world, the animation would still be playing on your other world. So that was weird, and that's just kind of a visual thing, but glad that they fixed it. And last but not least, the shulker boxes. If you were to use a lock tag, and a lot of you guys might not remember this, but there's a lock tag you can make. You can basically like say this egg is the key to unlocking this chest, and if you don't have the key, you can't open that specific lock. Now, shulker boxes, if you mined them previously, they would lose that lock, and now it has been retained. So if you have access to commands, this is something that would probably be very useful for servers and maps and things. Now you can lock your shulker boxes again and not worry about someone breaking into them. And last but not least here, I wanted to mention the new launcher is in kind of a beta experimental form, and it's been going on for a couple weeks now. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. It's hopefully close to being released at long last, but I said that about 1.11 as well. Maybe we'll get both of them at the same time. So definitely check that out. Be careful though, because it is an experimental version that could, mess with your Minecraft saves and your different versions and everything. And I want to thank you guys again for tuning in for another Snapshot update. If you want to leave a like, I appreciate it. You want to subscribe, we'll have more Minecraft content coming in the future. And I don't usually say stuff like this, but if you wanted to check out another series that's kind of like Minecraft, I've been playing Dragon Quest Builders, and I wanted to mention this because this is a game that is heavily inspired by Minecraft, obviously, and uses blocks and everything, but it does some really cool stuff that I enjoy that I wish Minecraft would kind of add. For example, if you have a village in Dragon Quest Builders, your little villagers will cook for you, they'll help defend the place, they'll have quests. They're a lot more interesting. It's almost like having the Sims types of characters like inside of a village from Minecraft, like a nice blending there. And I wish that the villagers in Minecraft would get some of those types of features as well. And also just handy quality of life stuff where if you have stuff in storage, you can craft it really easily without having to have the specific stuff in your inventory and stuff like that. Just a lot of things that make the game quicker and more exciting, I think, than a lot of Minecraft parts. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time for more Minecraft. Goodbye.